This may be the deepest, darkest secret that Kamala Harris does not want you to know. It is a post that is currently spreading like wildfire on the internet. This, in the moments as I record this, just moments after an electric Donald Trump rally in Pennsylvania. The rally was so electric that the betting markets have shifted in the last 24 hours to where Kamala Harris was a 5-point favorite to now just a 2-point favorite with nearly 50 days left till the election. I sincerely wish, hope, pray that I wish there were more time. I wish there were more time because things are going bad for Kamala Harris. Now, we know the national polling data hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot. Kamala Harris still has some wild, untrustworthy polls. Always remember, national polls are relatively irrelevant. You win the election through the Electoral College. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, that might be enough to win the election. Even if he doesn't win Pennsylvania, he still has a path by winning Wisconsin and Michigan. He has many paths to victory, and he's doing very well in the Sun Belt states, leading in Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona. And Nevada. I think he also leads in Arizona. This poll shows Kamala Harris at a national lead of 2.2 points based on a few recent polls. We need more polling data. That still puts her a full point behind almost Hillary Clinton's 3.0 lead this time in 2016 and puts her 5 points behind Joe Biden, which that election was still close too. You have wild articles like Harris holds 7-point lead over Trump in Wisconsin poll. Nonsense. She might win Wisconsin. She might. She literally might win Wisconsin. It's going to be close. I see nothing but Trump signs around by me. But Milwaukee and Madison will still, and Green Bay will decide the election. It's going to come down to whether or not people feel like getting up and going out and doing and actually voting. This is wild. In a multi-candidate race, Harris' advantage over Trump ticks up by 1 point with 51% in support to Trump's 43%. Former Green Party candidate Jill Stein received 1 point, and another 2 points says they're undecided, and 1 point declining answer. We can safely assume the declining answers are Trump voters, and the undecideds are probably Trump voters too. But to think that I live here, look, I could eat these words. Things could go burr, all sorts of stuff like that could happen. Wisconsin could embarrass me. I mean, Wisconsin went for Biden pretty strongly in 2020 at about 2 o'clock in the morning when they brought in all those Milwaukee votes. You know, Trump was doing very, very well. That's why I'm doing my part with my Tailgates for Trump stickers, which I'm not promoting at all this week, so I can let Maggie catch up on the 30,000 of them that you purchased. But here's the thing. I'm out here telling you, vote early in person. I don't care where you live, you know. Vote early in person, bank your vote, then go find another vote. Because this is some stuff. Look at Kamala Harris. She had a teleprompter during the Oprah show. Look at that. She had a teleprompter during what was supposed to be a live town hall. I mean, total fraud. Here, J.D. Vance absolutely torches her.
And our message to Kamala Harris is, how dare you call people a racist for wanting to close down that wide open border? Our message to Kamala Harris is, how dare you call the citizens of your own country bad people because they don't want a flood of illegal migration in their country? Kamala Harris, how dare you attack the citizens of your own country for not wanting their children to die of fentanyl overdoses? Kamala Harris, how dare you call the citizens of your own country bad people? You're a bad person for causing this border crisis. We are not bad people for complaining about it.
as Trump's surrogates, J.D. Vance and more, do their rallies, I continue to want them to remind people to vote early in person. You leave the rally and go vote. Some of these rallies are like 2 p.m. You probably could do that. Kamala is getting so desperate. I mean, look, Kamala Harris got the endorsement of the IRS union. That's not exactly an endorsement that I would want. I can't imagine it's an endorsement you would want. I can't imagine it's an endorsement anyone would want. The IRS union. Now you have Zelensky. So while Donald Trump is buying people groceries, literally, you have Zelensky signing bombs. Here's Josh Shapiro, who was going to be Kamala Harris' vice president, but she didn't have the stones to pick a Jew. That's just true. There is a deep Jewish hatred among the Democrat Party, and that is why she didn't take Josh Shapiro. And I think it could cost her Pennsylvania. Here you have Josh Shapiro signing munitions. At the same time, Donald Trump is buying people groceries. You know? That's what, I mean, Kamala Harris is trotting out Volodymyr Zelensky, give me $7 more billion. Zelensky calls J.D. Vance too radical. Says guy who canceled elections. Says guy that attacked political dissidents and journalists who spoke out against the war. That's the guy who's calling Volodymyr Zelensky, I'm sorry, J.D. Vance too radical? No, they literally brought in Vladimir Zelensky to campaign for Kamala Harris. And they also brought him in on military planes, a C-17, I believe, funded by your tax dollars to go campaign for Kamala Harris. That is the truth. They brought this drug addict loser, in my opinion, this thief, this actor, this leader that every major news publication in America called corrupt up until the point where we could have a proxy war with Russia, came to our country to personally take our tax dollars in check form from our corrupt leadership, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. And while he was here, they had him do some campaigning for Kamala Harris. An absolute disgrace. This you see here. Kamala Harris's surge may not be built to last. This on the Hill tonight. In a truly unprecedented presidential election, one of the most discussed phenomena, Kamala phenomenon, has been immense and rapid outpouring of support that followed Vice President Kamala Harris's elevation to the top of the ticket following President Biden's withdrawal. Many of us call it a coup. As we wrote in early August, almost immediately after Harris secured nomination, polls began reflecting a Harris surge. However, the caveat we noted was, while there was genuine enthusiasm for Harris's candidacy, particularly among key Democratic constituencies, it was just as likely that the polls were showing a honeymoon period as opposed to genuine sustainable surge. Now that the Harris and the Democratic Party, she's been the party nominee for 2 months, and with less than 50 days to Americans cast their vote, it is legitimate to ask whether or not the Kamala Harris surge is real. There are two principal reasons to ask these questions. First, Harris's support in polls has plateaued over the last 2 months with no shift in the race. That, despite impressive debate performance, and more time to introduce herself to voters. Second, although Harris has undoubtedly driven support and enthusiasm among Democrats, it's a lot less clear that she's made inroads with independents or swing voters. Virtually all of Harris's polling gains are due to existing Democrats who are going to vote Democrat anyway. This leaves a possibility that the polls are simply reflecting the support of the voters who would, in all likelihood, have voted for a Democrat anyway. You know, the New York Times suggested and wrote, while 2/3, 67% of likely voters believed Harris performed well, versus 47% saying the same of Trump, the presidential race remained deadlocked. meaning there was no debate boost. Harris struggled to expand her polling lead, is reflected across all polls aggregated by Real Clear Politics. From immediately before the date of September 20th on the Real Clear Politics average has shown Harris's lead growing by less than 1 percentage point. She now leads 49% to 47%. Importantly, Harris's 49% also underperforms Biden from 4 years ago, when he won 51% of the popular vote and barely scraped by in the Electoral College, based on less than 50,000 votes in key states. That's what I'm talking about. That's why tailgates for Trump is so important. 50,000 votes in swing states. That's all it takes. 50,000 people could see, Kamala Harris stickers or Trump stickers and go vote. I read comments. Somebody just said in the comments, your efforts are working. My husband is not political at all. He is a Trump guy, but he told me he'd put your work stickers out at work. That's what we need. We need people to go out and do sticker activism, right? Importantly, Harris's 49% also underperforms Biden from 4 years ago when he won. Moreover, national polls, which were more likely to show Harris with the lead, are inconsistent with data from the swing states. Think specifically polls like the ones from Morning Consult showing Harris leading Trump by 6 points. Where is that? Dang you video. Why'd you start? Where is this Morning Consult post? Underperforms electoral. Oh, importantly, Harris's 49% also underperforms Biden from 4 years ago when he won 51%, barely. Think specifically of polls like Morning Consult showing Harris leading Trump by 6 points. Such outlier polls, as this one appears to be, make for highly clickbait headlines and contribute to the narrative of the Harris surge, even if the data from swing states shows something drastically different. While Harris leads in the must-have blue wall states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Trump has similar leads in Georgia, Arizona, +2 each, and North Carolina, and certainly Nevada. And I think that Trump is going to win Pennsylvania. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, he wins the election. It's that simple. Now, this post going viral, Kamala's IQ revealed. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I went to Howard University and was in the same psychology class as Kamala Harris. One of the topics we were learning about was IQ. Naturally, we all took IQ tests during one of the classes. After class, a couple of us were chatting about what we got. Most of us were around 115. Kamala comes up and goes, 78? I'll take it. The maximum is 80, right? Then she started laughing like a psychopath. I thought there's no way this B graduates. I mean, I don't know if that's real or not. It'd be interesting to see if she would combat that by taking another IQ test. She must have learned about the range that night, because the next day she comes up to the students mentioning her score and started venting about how she was distracted and didn't have her coffee and this and that. No, Kamala, you're just an idiot. Everyone in the class thought she was weird. Could that be true? I mean, that would be a bad look. An 80 IQ, 78 IQ. Not really what I want running this country. But, as always, you must get out and vote. Check tailgatesfortrump.com. There's a link to the early vote, when you can start early voting. Vote early, in person, and get somebody else, because no matter how stupid this woman is, it's still going to take a Herculean effort to get Trump into office.